Hello all. So as a continuation of my lecture series in transmission and distribution, we have come to unit 5, which is distribution systems, in which general aspects of distribution system is going to be discussed in this session. So in the previous videos, we have learned many things about generation, transmission and distribution. So generation plays a major role, and whatever we generate, we have to first transmit and then distribute to the consumers. So let us recall something about before going into the distribution system. Let us recall. So a general electricity distribution system is clearly shown in the picture. It has a generation, transmission, distribution, and utilization part. Whereas utilization is consumption by the end users. So, at what voltage levels power enter our homes? So, it is about 230 volts. And we have another question here is, what is the difference between transmission and distribution? Yes, very good. So, transmission is something which we transmit power from the generation part to the distribution part where consumers are going to use. Whereas distribution is something we are going to distribute to the each and every homes in that particular area. So transmission is only transferring power from one place to another, whereas distribution is we are supplying to the end users. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the introduction, types of distribution systems and distribution system components. So let us explore something about before going into the topic. So transmission line, which is high voltage lines transporting power. That's all. So it will transport power to the where it is substation. So substation is it facilitates receiving power from the transmission lines. So next, from the substation, it will be given to the feeder where main line branches from the substations. So from the substation, the distribution part starts. So the intermediate part will be a feeder. Then next will be the distributor, which is the line supplying power to the consumers. So who are the consumers? Consumers are ourselves, where end users which use the electric power. So this is the flow from the transmission line part to the distribution part. So now we are going to see about the power flow in distribution system. So when an efficient power can be distributed is when it has a high current capacity, constant voltage and no direct connections. So these are all the parameters in order to make an efficient power distribution. So whereas feeders, which are high capacity lines that carries power from the substation to the distribution area. So to the substation, the power will be from the transmission part. When we learn about the single line diagram, which we have already seen in the previous videos, in single line diagram, we will be having a generation part. That generation part will be given to a primary transmission and another one is secondary transmission. Whereas in distribution also we have two, primary and secondary. So from the secondary transmission to the distribution part, we can go through the substation. So feeders, which are high capacity lines that carries power from the substation to the distribution part. So next comes the service mains, before which we have to learn about the lower current capacity direct consumer connections. What will happen when we give the connection directly to the consumers? So the distributors directly connected to the consumer premises. And voltage variation is when there is a variation in the voltage levels, it can vary along the distributor due to the load changes. So when the load changes, then the voltage also varies. So coming to the low current capacity, this low current capacity is designed to handle the combined load of multiple consumers. So for each consumer, we will not be able to transmit and distribute. So we will have a bulk of customers in that particular area. So low current capacity is designed to handle multiple consumers. So this is another power flow in distribution system. where low current capacity, direct consumer connections and voltage variations are very important parameters which we have to select before distributing to the consumers. So next one is service mains. So service mains are the final connection between the distributor and the consumers. So service mains are the final connection between the distributors and the consumers. The main parameters that we have to consider here is low voltage, short length and direct connection. Next, coming to the types of distribution system. So main types of distribution systems are radial, ring main system and interconnected system. So ring main is nothing but this is an ideal for moderate low density and require higher reliability. So we can supply many consumers. It will be in a ring shaped. Whereas radial, which is suitable for low load density. Whereas ring main is required is moderate load density. Whereas interconnected is high load density. So radial, ring main and interconnected. So this is for radial is for low load. This is medium load and this is high load density. So categorizing of distribution networks, it is two types as I have already said, primary distribution and secondary distribution. So primary distribution is from the low to the high. So the primary distribution operates at medium voltage levels. For example, we call it as 11 kV or 33 kV, and this is responsible for transporting power from the substation to the distribution. Whereas in secondary distribution, the voltage levels will be like 415 or 230 volts based on the single phase or three phase supply. These are responsible to deliver for the individual consumers. So the primary distribution is responsible for to transfer, whereas the secondary distribution is responsible to supply for the individual consumers. So this secondary distribution network ensures safety, it delivers to the consumers, it receives power and it also distributes power. These are all the four main parameters of the secondary distribution system. Next, coming to the components of distribution system. So generally a distribution system will have a substation. From that it will be distributed to the feeder, where distribution transformers, distribution lines and protection devices. So these are all the main components of the distribution system. So now let's summarize. So in this video, we have discussed about the distribution system general aspects. So this will be an introduction and a purpose we had, and we learned about the types of distribution systems and how the distribution is made, and we learned about the distribution system components, and we discussed something about the voltage levels. So this is the mind map for the which we have already learnt. So introduction and purpose, we learnt about the final stage in electric power delivery, which is the distribution part, and this distribution part connects the transmission system to the consumers, and this ensures electricity availability. And coming to primary distribution system and secondary distribution system, and next we have learnt about the feeders and applications. The main applications of distribution systems are residential areas, industrial applications. And so here we have some references.